Okay, today we're going to be looking at the Thunder Tiger Phoenix bx2, a 1 in 10 scale electric powered off-road buggy, obviously made by Thunder Tiger Corporation. So what are the specs on this thing then? Let's look at the box, shall we? The two controller options, you had your pistol controller or your more traditional style controller, joystick style, and then we had obviously a digital electronic speed controller, nice mechanical rubbish. Brushed, of course. We have a servo that helps with steering. Yay! A super 17 turn brushed motor. Woohoo! And it's completely sealed. You can't actually get into it by the looks of it. It takes 8 AA batteries, not included. 2.4 GHz transmitter and receiver, which was state of the art back in 2004. So yeah, I don't know when this thing exactly came out. I've not researched it. I'd guess somewhere between 2004 and 2012, as it's a brushed system. You can still get brushed RC cars today, but they are far less common. So let's look at the box then. And if you can read any of that, you're all good. Let's spin it round. Available in 6 different colours apparently. Okay, so let's talk about the specs on here then. Full bronze bushings throughout. Yeah, that's not so good. I'd like to see ball bearings on something like this. Racing ball differential. Woohoo! That means it'll explode at the first sign of abuse. No, I'm only joking. It'll probably be fine. Oil filled shocks. Completely countersunk chassis. Adjustable camber squat and all that good stuff. Factory painted body shell. Adjustable steering servo assembly. Quadramatic suspension for greater stability and handling. Optimised front end geometry, improved steering and increased rigidity, race winning transmission for effortless power handling, adjustable slipper clutch, 48-tooth spur gear, allows aftermarket pinion gears, adjustable battery placement, which is quite handy for weight distribution and all that kind of stuff, stub axles and dog bones. Right, let's get the box open and have a look at this thing. Hang on while I put you down here next to this really dodgy battery from China. Okay, so let's look inside the box then. What have we got? Let's look at the transmitter, shall we? 2.4 GHz, of course. I don't know why I'm flipping the aerial up. This thing's not charged or anything like that. Their batteries are completely dead. Has this foam grip round here, which is quite nice. This feels really precise on the steering. We'll have to see if it's like that when actually driving it. It should be, but yeah, it's a Cougar branded RC, remote control. Nothing like Spectrum or anything like that. The throttle feels kind of cheap and like plasticky. It's not, it's just really light. And the moulding on the plastic has a few apprentice marks, but hey ho, it does the job. Obviously it has your usual adjustments on it. And it requires 8 freaking AA batteries. Yeah, I shit you not. So here we go. The original owner was kind enough to give us some electrical waste to get rid of. There's some BTY. Oh god. Yeah, BTY. If you ever see BTY batteries on eBay, do not buy them. They are absolute dog shit. They're basically those really crappy batteries you get in solar lights, but they stick a fake capacity on them, so it makes you think they're really good, and they're not. They're really crap. I had a set of these when they were advertising. It was 2,800 milliamps, and about 2,400 was like the norm at the time. And when I tested them, I got 200 milliamps. That was some brand new. I dread to think what they're like since they've been sitting in here for quite a while. It has some other random batteries in there that I've never heard of either. Contour, something like that. They all appear to sort of have crustiness and schmoo leaking out of them. So let's have a Anyway, you can put a actual battery pack in here, be it lithium or lithium iron phosphate, something like that, to give you a lot more runtime on your transmitter. Let's get the thing we've all been waiting for, the actual car itself. There's nothing else in the box. We didn't get a manual, sadly, which would have been nice for parts reference and stuff like that. Yeah, Phoenix bx2, as you can see there, in red with flames in a sort of yellow and white colour. Pro-line body, whether it is or not, I'm not sure. I assume it is actually a genuine Pro-line body that came with it. Just look inside. The spoiler has to sort of pop up. You can take it off completely to remove the body. Now, the thing I don't like about these body shells, on every single one of these generic type buggies, they're sort of a very common design this year. They alter it a little bit here and there. But these body shells always crack along here. If they're going to crack, they'll just crack along here. And these are quite pricey to replace. I think they're about 25 quid or so, which, is, it's a fair whack of wedge just for a high density polyethylene plastic. Right, so let's get into this thing. We've got the speed controller here. I've never heard of that brand. It's not like Nosram or LRP or anything like that. This looks like a fairly generic one. It looks pretty big and beefy though. So I don't know what turn limit we can go down to, but we'll test it out. It has a lovely crusty Tamiya connector on here. Woohoo, these are fantastic. Not. On-off switch is down here. It's just mounted with servo tape. There's our receiver. There's that fairly standard looking steering servo. It has a servo saver in there as well. So if you hit something hard, and it's a jump RC car, so it's highly likely, it will slip this as opposed to smash the gears up in the servo, which is handy. The motor is a 17 turn, basically a closed end ball design. There's that little, you can lift that up to get inside of it, but there's no like adjustable timing or anything like that. There are your suppression capacitors right there. There's your pinion gear and your spur gear. Yep, just this little wimpy plastic cover to save weight. It does keep dust out and stuff like that, but if you hit that it will break. The tyres on this look in really good condition, so it hasn't been used much. The underneath has a few scratch marks, but nothing bad. All the suspension seems to work, the shocks seem to work. There's no obvious play in anything back and forth, nothing major. So yeah, pretty cool little RC car. I will be testing this tomorrow, and we can see, how well she goes, so to speak. Take it to a local skate park and give it a few tests doing jumps and stuff like that. That concludes this video. See you later.